Did you know a simple nickel could make you rich? Some rare Jefferson nickels are worth thousands, one even sold for $40,000. Today, we're revealing 6 nickels that could be hiding in your pocket right now. Don't miss your chance to discover a small coin with big value. The 1964 D. Jefferson nickel might look like just an ordinary 5-cent coin, but some of these coins are actually worth a lot of money, even up to $19,800. That's right, a small nickel could be worth thousands of dollars if it has the right features. Let's talk about why this coin is so special. First, let's look at the letter D on the coin. If you turn the coin over, you'll see a building on the back. That building is called Monticello. It's the home of Thomas Jefferson. Right under Monticello, you might see a small letter D. That D means the coin was made in Denver. Coins are made at different places called mints, and each mint puts its own small letter on the coin. Denver uses the letter D. Now, here's where things get interesting. Some of the 1964 D nickels were made with small mistakes. These are called mint errors. Mistakes like this can make a coin much more valuable to collectors. For example, a coin might be printed off-center, or the image might be blurry, or some of the words or numbers might look doubled. These small mistakes aren't supposed to happen, but when they do, coin collectors really want them, and they're willing to pay a lot of money. Another reason the 1964 D nickel is important is because of the year it was made. In 1964, the U.S. was about to change the way it made coins. Before 1965, coins like dimes and quarters were made with real silver. After that, the government stopped using silver in most coins. Even though nickels don't have silver in them, the 1964 nickel is still special because it came from that same time period. Also, during this time, people were saving coins with silver, so there weren't enough coins to go around. To fix this, the government made a lot of 1964 nickels, and even kept using the 1964 date in 1965. So, there are many of these nickels out there, but only a few are worth big money, usually the ones in perfect condition or with errors. Now, let's talk about condition. It just means how the coin looks. If the coin has been used a lot and is worn out, it's not worth much. If the coin still looks new, with all the details easy to see, it could be worth a lot more. One thing collectors really look for is how clear the picture of Monticello is. If the lines are sharp and you can see all the small details, the coin is in great shape. There's also something called full steps. If you look at the front of Monticello on the back of the coin, you'll see some small steps. If you can clearly count all 5 or 6 steps, the coin might get a special grade from coin experts, and that makes it worth even more money. Most 1964 D nickels are only worth 5 cents, but a few special ones are worth much more. If the coin has a mint error, or if it looks brand new, it could be valuable. That's why people check their change carefully. You never know when you might find a rare coin. So, if you ever come across a 1964 D. Jefferson nickel, don't just toss it aside. Look at the condition. Check for that D under Monticello. See if there are any mistakes on the coin, and look closely at the steps on the building. Even though it's just a nickel, it might be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors love coins with a story, and the 1964 D nickel is one of those coins. It's from an important time in U.S. history, and some of them are very rare. Keep your eyes open, you just might find one in your pocket. Have you ever looked at the coins in your pocket or wallet? Most of the time, they're just regular coins. But sometimes, you might find a coin that is very special. One of those coins is the 1965 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark. This coin is well known to people who collect coins. It became special because of a mistake made at the U.S. Mint. Let's talk about what a mint mark is. In the United States, coins are made in different cities. These cities are called mints. To show where a coin was made, the mint puts a small letter on the coin. For example, a D means it was made in Denver. An S means San Francisco. If there is no letter, it usually means Philadelphia. But in 1965, something different happened. That year, the U.S. Mint was making some big changes. They stopped using silver in coins like dimes and quarters, because silver was getting too expensive. During this time, the Mint also made a strange choice. They removed the mint marks from all coins made between 1965 and 1967. This means that all nickels from 1965 do not have a mint mark. Even the ones made in Denver have no letter. This was not really a mistake, the Mint did it on purpose. But many people still think of the 1965 nickel with no mint mark as a special coin or even a mistake coin, because it's different from other years. So, what makes the 1965 Jefferson nickel interesting? The first thing is how many were made. In 1965, the Mint made over 136 million of these nickels. That's a huge number. Most of them were made in Philadelphia, but we don't know for sure which ones, because there are no mint marks to help us. Some people say that a few of these coins were made with errors. A coin error means something went wrong when the coin was made. For example, maybe the design is off-center, or parts of the letters look strange. Coins with errors are very popular with collectors. If a 1965 nickel has a real error like that, it could be worth a lot more money. But just having a 1965 nickel with no mint mark does not mean it is worth thousands of dollars. Most of these nickels are only worth 5 cents, just like they were when they were made. The value of the coin goes up if it is in great condition. That means the coin looks almost brand new. It has no big scratches or marks. You can still see all the little details, like the lines on Jefferson's face or the steps on the building on the back of the coin. This building is called Monticello, and it was Thomas Jefferson's home. If your coin is in really good shape, it could be worth a few dollars, or even more. Some very clean and shiny 1965 nickels, called mint state coins, have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In rare cases, coins have sold for up to $40,000, but this is very rare, and usually only happens with coins that are nearly perfect or have a real error. If you think you have a 1965 nickel that might be special, the best thing to do is get it checked by someone who knows about coins. You can take it to a local coin shop, or send it to a company that gives coins a grade. These companies, like PCGS or NGC, look at your coin and give it a number grade based on how good it looks. The higher the grade, the more it might be worth. It's always fun to check your coins. You never know what you might find. The 1965 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark is a great example of a coin that seems normal but has an interesting story. Even though most of them are not super rare, some special ones can be worth a lot, if they are in top condition or have a real mistake from the mint. So the next time you get change at the store, take a quick look at your coins. That old nickel in your hand might be worth more than you think. Let's talk about a special kind of nickel that collectors really love, the 1968 D. Jefferson nickel with full steps. You might be wondering what makes this coin so special, especially since it's just a 5-cent piece. But for coin collectors, this nickel can be worth a lot more, even as much as $2,695 if it's in perfect condition with a feature called full steps. So, what does full steps mean? On the back of the Jefferson nickel, there's a picture of a building called Monticello. This was Thomas Jefferson's home, and it's shown with a staircase at the bottom. On most nickels, those steps are hard to see clearly because they can wear down over time or weren't stamped sharply at the mint. But on a full step coin, those stairs are clear and easy to count. You can see each step, and there are no big marks or weak spots that break the lines. This clear detail is very important to collectors. Why? Because it shows that the coin was struck, or made, with great care and strong pressure. That means the coin came from a well-made die, the tool used to stamp the coin's design, and that it didn't wear out from handling or circulation. Coins with full steps are harder to find because most coins don't keep those details sharp, especially after being used over time. The 1968 D. Jefferson nickel is even harder to find with full steps. The D in the name means it was made at the Denver Mint. During the 1960s, coin production was very high, and mints were focused on making large numbers of coins quickly. Because of that, many nickels from this time have weak details, especially in the Monticello steps. That's why finding a 1968 D nickel with perfect full steps is so rare. For a coin to be called a full step nickel, the steps must be complete and unbroken. Most grading services, the companies that check and grade coins, look for at least 5 full steps, but the best ones have 6 full steps. If there are cuts, scratches, or soft areas where the steps aren't clear, the coin won't get the full step label. That little detail can make a huge difference in value. Imagine holding two 1968 D nickels. One looks just like any other coin you've seen, but the steps on Monticello are a bit smooth or worn. The other one has sharp, clear steps you can count one by one. That second coin is the one collectors want, and the one that can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Now, you might be asking, why would anyone pay that much for a nickel? It's because coin collectors love coins that are rare, well-made, and in great shape. A 1968 D Jefferson nickel with full steps checks all those boxes. It's hard to find, it has a special feature that proves it was struck with care, and it looks amazing. For collectors, that's a big deal. Also, keep in mind that many nickels from this year were used in everyday life. They were passed around, kept in pockets, dropped, or left in jars. All that use wears down the fine details like the steps. That's why most 1968 D nickels you find won't have full steps. But if you're lucky and find one that does, you might be holding a coin that's worth way more than its face value. If you want to check your coins, start by looking closely at the back of any 1968 D Jefferson nickels you have. Use a magnifying glass or a phone camera to zoom in. Look at the steps of Monticello. Can you count them clearly? Are they smooth and sharp, without any big breaks or dents? If so, you might have a full step nickel. Collectors are always on the lookout for these. That's why it's good to check your change or old coin jars. You never know, a simple nickel could turn out to be something really valuable. Even if it's not worth thousands, it's still exciting to find a rare piece of American coin history. So next time you see a Jefferson nickel, especially one from 1968 with a D mint mark, flip it over and take a closer look at those steps. You might just find a hidden treasure. Let's take a look at the 1953 D Jefferson nickel, a coin that many collectors dream of finding. It might look like just another nickel at first, but don't be fooled. This coin is actually very rare and can be worth thousands of dollars, depending on its condition. The D in its name stands for Denver, which is where this coin was made. And because fewer of these nickels were produced at the Denver Mint that year, this one stands out in a big way. First, let's talk about what makes this coin special. In 1953, the United States Mint made nickels at a few different locations, including Philadelphia and Denver. Most of the nickels from that year came from the Philadelphia Mint, so the ones made in Denver, the 1953 D nickels, were produced in much smaller numbers. That smaller amount makes these coins harder to find today. When something is rare, it becomes more valuable, and that's exactly the case with the 1953 D Jefferson nickel. The fewer coins that exist, especially in great condition, the more collectors want them. And when many collectors want the same coin, the price can go way up. You can tell this nickel was made in Denver by looking at the back of the coin, just under the building. That building is Monticello, which was Thomas Jefferson's home in Virginia. Right under Monticello's dome, you'll see a small letter, D. That D is the mint mark, and it tells you this nickel came from the Denver Mint. It might be a small detail, but for coin collectors, it's a very important one. Now, let's talk about the design of the coin. On the front, or obverse side, is a picture of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. This design was created by an artist named Felix Schlag and has been on the nickel since 1938. Jefferson's profile is detailed and bold, especially on coins that haven't been worn down. The back of the coin, or reverse side, shows Monticello, the beautiful home Jefferson designed and lived in. The building has strong lines and columns, and right below it, you'll see the words Monticello and the coin's mint mark. What makes the 1953 D. Jefferson nickel so exciting for collectors is not just the design or the story behind it, it's how rare it is in good shape. Most of the 1953 D nickels were used in daily life. They were passed from hand to hand, used in stores, dropped in jars, or forgotten in pockets. All of that use wears coins down. The edges get smoother, the images fade, and fine details like Jefferson's hair or the steps of Monticello can disappear. Because of this, finding a 1953 D nickel that still looks sharp and fresh is really tough. That's why coins in great condition, especially those that have never been used, are worth so much more. These are called uncirculated coins, and they can bring in high prices. Just how much are we talking about? A worn-down 1953 D. Jefferson nickel might only be worth a little more than 5 cents, maybe a few dollars if it's in decent shape. But if the coin is in top condition, with all its details sharp and clear, it could be worth $3,400 or even more. In some cases, collectors have paid over $15,000 for a single 1953 D nickel that was graded as nearly perfect. That's a huge amount for a coin that originally cost just 5 cents. Grading is a big part of figuring out how much a coin is worth. Professional coin graders look at every tiny detail on a coin. They check how much wear it has, how sharp the images are, whether there are any scratches or marks, and more. Coins are then given a grade on a scale, with the highest being MS 70, which means mint state 70, a perfect, flawless coin. Let's say you find a 1953 D. Jefferson nickel in your old change or in a coin collection. The first thing to do is look at its condition. Is Jefferson's face still easy to see? Can you read all the writing? Are the steps on Monticello still visible? If so, you might have something special. It could be a good idea to have the coin checked by a professional to see what grade it gets. Even if the coin isn't worth thousands, it's still an exciting find. The 1953 D nickel is not something you'll come across every day. Many people collect coins just for the fun of it, and having a rare one like this makes any collection better. The cool thing about this coin is that it's not ancient or from some faraway place, it's a fairly modern US coin that anyone could find if they're lucky. That's why so many people enjoy coin collecting. You never know when a rare and valuable piece might show up in a jar of old change, in a collection you inherited, or even in your pocket. So, the next time you see a Jefferson nickel, especially one from the 1950s, take a moment to look closely. If you spot a little D under Monticello and the coin is in great shape, you could be holding something very rare and valuable. The 1973 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is a coin that has caught the attention of many collectors. At first glance it might look like an ordinary nickel. But if you look closer you'll see there's something different about it. It doesn't have a mint mark. That small detail makes it very special. Let's start with what a mint mark is. A mint mark is a small letter on a coin that tells us where the coin was made. For example, a D stands for the Denver Mint, and an S stands for the San Francisco Mint. Most coins made in Philadelphia have no mint mark. However, in the early 1970s, the rules were a bit different for nickels. By 1973, coins made in Philadelphia usually still did not have a mint mark, but for some special sets or proof coins, a mint mark was added. That's where this error becomes interesting. Some 1973 Jefferson nickels were supposed to have a mint mark but were accidentally made without one. This mistake happened at the Philadelphia Mint, and only a small number of coins were affected. These kinds of mistakes are known as error coins, and collectors love them because they're rare. On a regular Jefferson nickel you can find the mint mark just to the right of Monticello, the building shown on the back of the coin. If you look there and don't see any letter, it could mean two things: either it was made in Philadelphia, and had no mint mark as usual, or it was one of these rare error coins that were supposed to have a mint mark but didn't get one. So, why does a small missing letter matter so much? It's all about rarity and demand. When something is rare and many people want it, its value goes up. That's exactly what's happened with the 1973 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark. Even though it's just a small mistake, it makes the coin stand out. Some collectors are willing to pay a lot of money for one of these error coins. In fact, depending on the condition of the coin, a 1973 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark could be worth up to $2,750. That's an amazing amount of money for a coin that was originally worth only 5 cents. The better the condition, the more it can be worth. That means if the coin looks shiny, has no scratches, and the details are still sharp, it could be very valuable. But if it's worn down or damaged, the value will be lower. Collectors use a grading system to judge how nice a coin looks. A coin in mint state or uncirculated condition is one that hasn't been used and looks almost brand new. These coins are the most valuable. If your 1973 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark looks this good, it might be worth a lot. What also makes this coin interesting is the design. The Jefferson nickel has had the same basic look since 1938. On the front you see Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. On the back you see his home Monticello. This classic design stayed the same for many years, including the 1970s, so finding a rare version of it from that time is like holding a piece of history in your hands. The 1970s were a time of change and style in America. People were starting to collect more things, and coins became a popular hobby. Because of this, coins from that time are even more appreciated today, especially ones with errors. They remind people of the past and tell a story. Now, you might be wondering how to check if your nickel is special. First, look at the date on the front. If it says 1973, then flip it over and look just to the right of the building on the back. If you don't see a mint mark, no D, no S, and you know it's supposed to have one, then you might have something special. But be careful, because many regular nickels from Philadelphia also have no mint mark. That's why it's a good idea to have it checked by an expert or a coin dealer. They can tell you if it's the rare kind. If you do have one of these coins, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can actually hurt its value. Just keep it safe and dry, maybe in a small coin holder or case. If you want to sell it or find out exactly how much it's worth, take it to a professional who can grade it and give you more information. Error coins like this one are fun to find because they turn an ordinary object into something exciting and valuable. It's like a treasure hunt, you never know what might be hiding in your pocket change or an old jar of coins at home. The 1973 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is a perfect example of how a tiny mistake at the mint can turn into a big deal for collectors. With its missing mint mark, this coin has become a rare and valuable piece that people all over the country are hoping to find. The 1975 D. Jefferson nickel is an interesting coin for collectors, and it's one of those coins that might look like a regular nickel at first, but with a closer look, it becomes clear that it holds special value for a few reasons. In this case, the D mint mark is key to understanding why this particular coin might be worth more than just its face value of 5 cents. Mint marks on coins are very important to collectors because they tell us where the coin was made. In the case of the 1975 Jefferson nickel, the D mint mark indicates that it was made at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint is one of the major U.S. mints, and most of the Jefferson nickels from that year were produced there. But there are a few things that make this specific coin stand out, especially to collectors who keep an eye out for rarer or more unique items. First, let's talk about the regular 1975 D. Jefferson nickel. Most of these coins were made in large numbers and have a relatively low value if they are in average condition. If you find a 1975 D. Jefferson nickel in your pocket change, it's likely worth around its face value of 5 cents. However, there are a few exceptions. Just like other coins, the value of a 1975 D. Jefferson nickel can go up if it is in better condition or if it has a specific error or feature that makes it more desirable. The general circulation of coins is influenced by a lot of factors, including how many are minted and how often they are used. When it comes to the 1975 D. Jefferson nickel, most of the coins were struck and distributed into everyday use. But because so many were made and circulated, there are quite a few that have been worn down or damaged over time. The key to understanding the value of a 1975 D. Jefferson nickel is recognizing the different factors that can make a coin more valuable than others of the same year. One of the primary ways that coin collectors assess the value of a coin is by looking at its condition. Coins that are in excellent condition, with little to no wear and tear, are far more valuable than those that are heavily scratched, dented, or worn out. This is especially true for coins like the 1975 D. Jefferson nickel, which were made in high numbers but are still sought after by collectors. A 1975 D. Jefferson nickel in good or uncirculated condition can be worth more than just 5 cents. For example, if you happen to find a 1975 D nickel that has been preserved in excellent shape, it could be worth around $1 to $5, depending on its specific condition and any unique features it might have. Coins that are graded as uncirculated, meaning they've never been in circulation and still look brand new, will generally command higher prices than those that have seen a lot of use. The grade or condition of a coin is determined by professional coin graders who use a specific system to evaluate the amount of wear on a coin. The most common grading scale is called the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1, poor, to 70, perfect. A coin that has been graded in the 60s or higher is considered to be in excellent condition, and it could be worth a significant amount more than its face value. Another factor that can influence the value of a 1975 D. Jefferson nickel is its rarity. Although the 1975 D nickel was minted in large numbers, certain variations of the coin can make it rarer than others. For example, coins with minor errors or those with a distinctive feature, like a die crack or misalignment, can be more valuable. These types of coins are known as error coins, and are highly sought after by collectors. One of the most common types of error coins involves minting mistakes that happen when the coin is being struck. Sometimes, the coin will have a misaligned die or be struck with too much force, resulting in a blurry design or an off-center image. In these cases, the coin may have a significant difference from other normal coins of the same year, making it more attractive to collectors who specialize in error coins. For a 1975 D. Jefferson nickel, errors could include things like a double die, where the design appears more than once on the coin, or a wrong die being used during the minting process. These errors are rare and make the coin much more valuable, sometimes even worth hundreds of dollars depending on the severity and rarity of the mistake. But it's not just about errors that make the 1975 D. Jefferson nickel valuable. The design of the coin itself also plays a role. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation for a long time, and it features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the front. On the reverse, the coin shows Jefferson's home, Monticello, which is an iconic building in American history. The 1975 version of the coin still carries these familiar images, making it a piece of history for collectors who appreciate older coins with significant designs. Another aspect to consider is the overall market for coins. Like any collectible item, the value of a coin can fluctuate based on demand. Coin collectors and investors are always on the lookout for specific years, mint marks, and conditions that are considered rare or historically important. In general, coins from the 1970s are often seen as a bridge between older and newer designs, which makes them interesting to collectors who want to have a piece of history from that era. The 1970s were a time of change and style in America. People were starting to collect more things, and coins became a popular hobby. Because of this, coins from that time are even more appreciated today, especially ones with errors. They remind people of the past and tell a story. Now, you might be wondering how to check if your nickel is special. First, look at the date on the front. If it says 1973, then flip it over and look just to the right of the building on the back. If you don't see a mint mark, no D, no S, and you know it's supposed to have one, then you might have something special. But be careful, because many regular nickels from Philadelphia also have no mint mark. That's why it's a good idea to have it checked by an expert or a coin dealer. They can tell you if it's the rare kind. If you do have one of these coins, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can actually hurt its value. Just keep it safe and dry, maybe in a small coin holder or case. If you want to sell it or find out exactly how much it's worth, take it to a professional who can grade it and give you more information. Error coins like this one are fun to find because they turn an ordinary object into something exciting and valuable. It's like a treasure hunt, you never know what might be hiding in your pocket change or an old jar of coins at home. The 1973 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is a perfect example of how a tiny mistake at the mint can turn into a big deal for collectors. With its missing mint mark, this coin has become a rare and valuable piece that people all over the country are hoping to find.